Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the season opener of the 2022 VRL Cup Series. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action in 1080p 60 frames a second. I hope everyone is excited and is ready for the Daytona 300 here with VRL Velocity Racing League. And today's race is the first of the Crown Jewel Challenge. More on that later as drivers are wrapping up their practice for today. Qualifying was done for this race a few weeks ago, so there will not be a qualifying for this race here today. So we will be getting right in to 120 laps here at Daytona, and I hope everyone is ready for the action here today. We are at the old school Daytona, being the 2008-2009 scan of this track when iRacing first initially brought Daytona to the service. So with that out of the way, drivers getting ready to prepare themselves and getting themselves onto the starting grid for today's race. Sean Williams going to be starting out in first in the number 89 machine. Out on the first row, Howie Briss in the 97 machine, going to be in second place, rounding out your first row. Howie Dtre going to be starting in third place with Scott Shire in fourth, Michael Keithley in fifth, Tony Hillbrands in sixth, Thomas Sewell in seventh. Charles Jurek going to be in eighth place. Brian Guzik in 9th place, James Miller in 10th, Nicholas Lavelle going to be in 11th, Keith Lee in 12th place. 13th, we have Jeffrey Fisher, Michael Ashmore going to be in 14th, with James Culbailey, in 15th, Aaron Smith in 16th, Colby Kersey in 17th, Matthew Fitz in 18th, Cody Welsh going to be in 19th place, Bill Harkins in 20th, Caitlin Height in 21st, Patrick Colby in 22nd. Tom Mercier. Going to be in 23rd, and Logan Jones in 24th. Learning names here as I go along. Benny Hogan in 25th, Kevin Foster in 26th, Nick Nickerson in 27th, Daniel Mosteller in 28th. Now, I do try my best to give every name a good practice through before I start every race, but nerves and all. Now, being that this is 120 laps that we are going to be doing here at Daytona in the ARCAs, I am quite curious to see how this race is going to unfold for these drivers here today. This is the first time that we are going to have Velocity Racing League broadcasted live here on Team Goon Squad. So great to have them here, and I hope that they are ready to bring the action, bring the heat for everyone watching, and honestly for myself up here in the booth. I'm excited to watch what these guys have in store. And let's get to racing as we work our way now through turns 3 and 4. The pace car is going to find itself diving down into pit road. We are going to open our first laps here today. Just a great look at the field here. There the pace car goes down into pit road. The green flag will fly. Lap 1 of 120. Here at Daytona, Aaron Smith, Sean Williams going to be side by side. We are double file all the way back through this field going into turn 1. Aaron Smith with just a little bit of an edge over the red. Look at that, the 09 James Miller getting a little bit unsettled there. It looks like, oh man, things are already starting to spice up for these drivers here already. Looking back, Cody Welsh in the 85 machine, going to be on the outside row in third place currently. Oh, man, as these guys work their way, I believe they're turn 3. Look at them all just bobbing and bouncing all over the track here. Excellent shots that we are seeing of these drivers, and I gotta give credit to how close these guys are to one another, getting as close to the bumper up here in the front of the field, just trying to keep that draft going, keep the momentum moving on such a fast track such as Daytona, currently seeing speeds upwards of 190 miles an hour here at Daytona. Someone's down on the inside on the apron, the number 70 of Aaron Smith. He's down out there, looks like pit road. Not sure if he's going to opt to come down and get some things resolved here. He is way off pace now. Looks like he might not have something going right there with that number 70 machine. But looking back out the front of the field, Sean Williams in the 89 going to be taking advantage of that. And there you go. You can see Aaron Smith coming down into pit road, and ultimately not sure what the reason is behind that, but everyone is still racing. We're still green flag. Nothing seemed to have came of it. I don't think there was any incidents that came of it. Look at that. The whole field dropping down there, down and low into the apron. Great to see that. These guys using every bit of track that they possibly can. Some of these guys doing every bit of work. We're 3 wide. All the way back here, 7th place. Just for a moment, we saw Nick Nickerson, James Kalbali, excuse me if I'm getting that incorrect, Sean Williams in the 89 there as well. All 3 of these drivers getting all 3 wide there for a moment, coming out of turn 3 and into 4. As we continue into turn 1, Cody Welch is going to be our race leader. Staying calm, staying collected out there in the front of the field, as he has James Miller in that 09 machine right on his tail. So looking around the field here, everyone's staying as close as possible to one another. It's a long race, 120 laps that we're going to be doing here at Daytona. Don't want to be too aggressive too early on, and right as I say that, Caitlin Height in the 18 machine finds herself up in the wall with a tire up on the hood of that 18 machine, coming down into pit road. Luckily not throwing a caution out onto the field, so we're going to stay green. Everyone continuing to race on. Looks like that was only a 1-car incident. Unfortunate to see that happen for Caitlin Height and the 18 machine. But for the rest of the field here, as drivers slowly start to wither away, it seems like that is pretty much all you have to do at this point is keep hitting your mark, stay consistent, and when you're side by side like this, lap after lap after lap, it can definitely get exhausting and very challenging. So these guys definitely showing who's the boss and who is going to be the one to beat here in this series. And now it's only race 1, so there's a lot on the table here for this race, and a lot of guys and gals are going to be looking to prove themselves here at Daytona for the Daytona 300. And I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the broadcast that this was the first of the Crown Jewel Challenge. Now you might be wondering to yourself, Mason, what on earth is the Crown Jewel Challenge? And I'm glad that you asked that. The Crown Jewel Challenge, it consists of, I believe it is 5 races. Yes, 5 races. This is the first of them. Now, to be eligible for a Crown Jewel Challenge race, you have must finished in the top 5 of the previous Crown Jewel Challenge race. You must also have ran 85% of all races, if not the next highest finisher in the previous Crown Jewel Challenge race that meets that requirement will be eligible. So, with all that in mind, if you are a driver that is eligible, which today's drivers are going to be Howie Breese, Tony Hilbrand, Scott Shire, James Calbailey, and Sean Williams. If any of these drivers here today win this race, they're going to win $100 as well. So that is a great incentive to do as well as possible in this race. $100 on the line for the winner. Well, for the Crown Jewel drivers. And right now, let's take a look at some of our Crown Jewel drivers and see where they stand on the field right now. The first of which that I see currently, Tony Hilbrand is going to be in the 92 machine, 4th place currently. Looking pretty solid right now. And again, lap 8 of 120 that we're on right now. There's a lot of racing that we still have to do. Tony's in 4th place right now. He is not in a bad position at all. If he can hold this for the remainder of the race and just capitalize on the mistakes of the guys in front of him, maybe make some shake and bake moves here and there. There might even be some cautions. He might be able to take advantage of that during the restarts. Fuel stops are also going to be a challenge here as well. So we're going to be on the lookout for these things. We're going to be seeing how some of these drivers move and shake throughout the field and see where they end up at the end of the race. But right now, Logan Jones, Cody Welsh, James Miller out in the front of the field leading this race currently. We're going to go take a step away from the front of the field, excuse me. We're going to kind of work our way from the back to the front and see where everyone is at and how they're doing. Starting with Michael Ashmore in the number 98 machine, is 24th place currently at this point in time of the race. Now there's a few other drivers behind them, but given that their distance between the rest of the field here is quite extreme, we'll leave them down, leave them to their racing and let them catch back up. Daniel Mostiller and Tom Mercier, both drivers that are currently finding themselves a little bit behind the field. But right now, Michael Ashmore in the 98, following behind the 34 of Howie Dietrich. Lap 10 of 120 that we're on, and so far no one's made any major mistakes and everyone has stayed very, very smooth. We haven't seen a lot of overly aggressive moves on anyone out the field. A lot of attempts at trying to make passes, but nothing too aggressive, and I love to see that. Great racing from all of these drivers here today, and a great shot of the field as they work their way down into turn 1. Look at that, the 04 of Brett Guzik finding himself on the outside line. Not an ideal position as well when you have a train of drivers below you. They are just going to blow right past you, and you're going to be left kind of in the dust. And it's almost impossible to avoid it. It's inevitable. You can try and stay in front of them, but they're going to come at you extremely hot, extremely fast. And if they have to try and check up because you're going too slow, that's only going to make things a lot worse. So, when you're finding yourself in that position, it's best to just wait it out and find yourself another spot in the train and join back in when you can. So, Brett Guzik doing a great job in the 04. Just trying to stick with it. Scott Shire in the 4 machine, kind of on the tail end, if you will, of this 2-wide group that we have just in front of the 4 machine. Let's actually ride on board for a moment with Scott and just see what it's like on the inside of the 4 of Scott Shire as we work our way into turn 1 here once again. Scott in 20th right now. He started there and he's still there. Great consistent racing so far. Tanya Mitchell in the chat. Good clean racing now, but just wait. Tanya, I do try my best to avoid commentators' curse, but given that this is Daytona, I'm not exactly going to say you're wrong. All right, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Tanya Mitchell, there will be a big wreck. Watch. So if there is one, don't blame me. It wasn't my fault. Commentator's curse had nothing to do with it this time around, but drivers doing a great job thus far. Lap 14 of 120, and we are double file. And who is that all the way out in the front of the field? Or is that just a lap driver? Okay, it is a lap driver. I thought someone was able to get away from this pack and do their own kind of driving, but no, that is a lap driver. And this is something that I was talking about just a little bit ago. You can see lap traffic coming down very low on the inside onto the apron to stay away from the drivers who are still on the lead lap, who are on a huge charge right now. And again, we're still seeing speeds of 190 miles an hour, especially on these straights for these guys. So these guys are absolutely booking it here at Daytona, and that's to be expected with these arguments, especially in drafts. They do extremely well. They push very well with one another, and once they start moving, we are 3 wide up front. Look at that. 3 wide, 2 deep. Tony Hilbrand, he's out in front. He's taking the lead in the 92 machine. Lap 15 of 120. It's still a long race left to go for Tony, but he is in the lead. This is exactly where he needs to be to win that $100 for the Crown Jewel Challenge, the first one of the season. And going back to that here briefly, just to give you guys an idea of where the Crown Jewel Challenge races are going to be. The first one obviously being Daytona. The next one going to be at Iowa for the Heartland 250. Third one going to be Indianapolis for the Brickyard 300, Darlington for the Southern 300, and Rockingham for the Phenom Paint Shop 250. Those will be our, I believe, official Crown Jewel Challenge races for the 2022 season. So we will expect to see those throughout the year, throughout the season. And we will see some, I'm sure, some excellent racing for those races in particular, as we have our first caution come out. Drivers all over the field. Brett Guzik going to be the first driver, it looks like, involved in this. Let's take a quick look and see what happens here. Oh, the 04 machine goes sideways. A little bit of a self-check up there, it looks like. Let's take a look. Oh, the 69. Matthew Fitz goes for a ride. Let's take things a little bit, little old school here. We're gonna go in reverse on the old VHS tape here. All right, we're gonna see what happens. Goes sideways into turn 1. Collects into the 61 of Keith Lee. And it looks like everyone else just avoiding the carnage that ensued from that wreck. So, great job from the rest of the field, avoiding the mess, keeping it together, staying with it. Tanya, definitely this is not the big one. Definitely not the big one. That was just a little baby wreck, as I like to call them. So, yeah, the big one definitely has not come out yet, but given that we have 28 drivers, well, 27, 26, minus the 2 drivers that have found themselves either out of the race or down a significant amount of laps at this point in time. So being the first caution of the race here today at Daytona, folks, I gotta say, we've seen very consistent, very clean racing so far already. But now that we know, as things kind of progress, this is, I would assume this is actually the point. Lap 20, lap 19, lap 20, this is probably the point where tire wear is going to start to really become a huge factor. And that's probably what caused that incident, was there was just not enough grip. Not enough grip on those tires, and it ultimately caused excuse me, the name eludes me again, ultimately caused Nick Lavelle, I believe, Patrick Colby, one of those drivers, to go sideways and throw out the first caution here for this race. So how this is going to progress going forward, how drivers are going to handle this, well, a few things could happen. There's always everyone just wrecks themselves out, and then there's only a handful of drivers on the field, and then we have green flag runs. Or everyone really locks themselves in and tries to make as little mistakes as possible. Either of these are possible. There are definitely more possibilities, but we will see how this progresses, how this race is going to go. I'm quite excited to see it go green once again. Jeffrey Fisher and Cody Welsh both going to be out in the front of the field here. I believe. Tanya with some very, very specific predictions here for the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series, the season opener and the first Crown Jewel Challenge race. And speaking of Crown Jewel, let's take a look at some of our drivers here. Let's see where they are out on track and see where they stack up. Howie Brees, Tony Hilbrands. Both of these drivers are going to be side by side, the 97 and the 92 here on this restart. So both of these drivers here are going to be neck and neck. We also have Scott Shire, going to be 19th here on this restart. James Colbailey in 12th. Or in 4th, actually. So James is actually going to be the driver to watch here, as he's going to be out on top currently out of the drivers that we see. Sean Williams, the final one, in 10th right now. So kind of a spread out all over the place as far as where our Crown Jewel drivers are. But that's not what we're all here for. Ultimately, that's not the only thing that we're here for, is what I meant to say. As we go green flag racing here once again, Jeffrey Fisher, James Miller, Cody Welsh gonna be our leaders here, and Jeffrey Fisher with quite the impressive launch here. Oh man, look at that bobbing and weaving happening. Let's ride on board with one of our drivers here, Nick Nickerson, in the number 2 machine in 4th place currently, just to get an idea of what's happening down there on track on the inside of that number 2 machine. Working our way into turn 3 here. Oh, look at him fighting the track and bouncing all over the place. And this was, I believe this was before the repave of Daytona, so this was the issue that was fixed from the repave. Is exactly what we're looking at here, is the bouncing around, and yeah, it's pretty gnarly. And it's probably, if you were a driver in one of these cars going 190 miles an hour like these guys are now, coming out of turn 4, it's probably pretty scary, pretty sketchy. And that's ultimately what led, I think, Daytona to repave. So, I could be wrong, I could be missing some information on that, but that is roughly the gist of it as far as what I understand. So, back to our racing here, though, for the Daytona 300 for the VRL Cup Series 2022. Jeffrey Fisher, look at these guys, side by side, 3 deep. Oh, actually, I take that back. That's like 6 deep. And they've done that since the beginning of this race. Ooh, getting up into the wall there on the outside line. Just for a moment it looked like, but nothing coming of it. Everyone's staying collected, staying calm here. Just looking at these drivers do some impressive draft work here. Looking at Thomas Sewell in the 77 machine in 12th place currently. Kind of found his own little pocket almost of room here, a little space. He's on the outside, but he's got his own little room that he doesn't really have to worry about someone coming up behind him, and he's got plenty of room to react to anything happening in front of him. He's just got to watch out for the guys on his inside. So he's in a position where he can play it safe. He doesn't really have to be aggressive. It's lap 24 of 120. There is no reason that you have to be extremely aggressive this early on in this race. It is almost senseless. You're going to put yourself in a bad position, and you'll most likely end up kicking yourself in the rear for it at the end of the race if something were to come of it that you are not a fan of. And I'm sure most drivers have been in that position one way or another at some point in their race career. Stay behind the Rex, Cody, if you can. Tanya Mitchell, Shad, giving some advice to the 85 machine, and that is some good advice to have right now, especially in a situation like this. But looking at Cody right now in the 85, he's on the outside of Jeffrey Fisher of the 06 machine. Cody. Oh, look at that. We're going 3 wide here for the lead. Jeffrey Fisher, Cody. Oh, man, look at that huge fall off for the 85 as he was forced way on the outside. That is, you don't want to go get yourself into the wall. Very, very close for that 85 machine, getting extremely close to the wall, and that's ultimately what had to force him to fall back. Now 6th place, down 2 positions from where he started here. Lap 26 of 120 here at Daytona for the Daytona 300. Look at this. The fighting is still not over up here in the front of the field. These guys giving it absolutely everything they got. Going into turn 3 and out of 4. Impressive racing for all of these drivers here. Selecting the wrong driver there for just a moment, but we're going to ride on board with James Miller for just a moment. Let's have a listen. Let's look at what happens here for a lap here at Daytona. Driving that we're seeing out of the 09 machine of James Miller, but look in here, these guys almost door to door, 2 wide, 4 or 5 deep, and it's been this way since the start of this race. A lot of great control from every single one of these drivers. Just all this shaking and moving that I'm seeing here up here in the booth, it's making me a little nervous. I'm looking for carnage, and it's not happening yet. It's still staying very smooth out there down on the track, even though it looks a little spicy here today. And oh, the 53, excuse me, Michael Keithley. Oh no. Oh no. Tanya, I think you got your wish. That absolutely collected many drivers. Let's take a look here at Bill Harkins. Oh, as he just nowhere to go in that situation. Let's take a look at Michael Keithley's perspective here. We're going to slow things down just a little bit. Looking at that 53 machine. Oh, man. He stays up high, but does not avoid collecting more drivers from that wreck. That is absolutely awful. So lap 29 of 120, our second caution of the race here today. My, oh my. Tanya Mitchell in the chat said it herself. She said that the big one was going to come out and it was going to come soon, and, well, here it is, folks. But with that in mind, as drivers get themselves sorted back out and back behind the pace car and ready to start things off here once again for the Daytona 300, we are going to take a short commercial break, and we will be right back for the 2022 VRL Cup Series here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more iRacing here on Team Goon Squad.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Daytona 300 here for the VRL Cup Series with Velocity Racing League. If you're just now tuning in, welcome, first of all. And it has been quite the racing that we've seen already from these drivers. A lot of calm and collected racing, but just small and minor mistakes that have seen drivers collected in first a small incident, but now we have seen the big one come out for the first time here at Daytona. At least for today. If you were watching the Daytona 500 yesterday, I'm sure you will have seen plenty of wrecks, as I also myself seen quite a few of them as well from the replays as well. But we are not here for that. We are here for the Daytona 300. And again, a lot of excellent racing from these drivers here already. And we got a question from someone in chat. What position is Cody in? Cody Welch is going to be in 9th place currently, as it would look like by timing. That does seem to be correct. I don't, unless I'm missing another Cody, but I don't see another one. So I think I got the right one. But 9th place seems to be where that number 9, or excuse me, not the number 9 machine, the 85 machine of Cody Welch is back to 8th now as we get sorted back out. The green flag He's going to fly here once more as the pace car dives down into pit road while we weren't looking. Benny Hogan in the 5 machine is going to be leading our race and already starting to get himself a gap. We have some drivers starting to get a little unsettled right behind him. Second place, Nick Nickerson down on the inside of the 77 of Thomas Sewell. Oh man, look at this on the outside. Thomas Sewell able to get himself a run on the outside of Benny Hogan. Will it be enough coming into turn 3 to get back down on the inside? Look at that. These guys absolutely doing everything they possibly can here in this situation. And what can you possibly do? Oh man, Benny Hogan going to be getting a little bit of draft support from Nick Nickerson, and currently in second place. Benny's still our race leader, but he's got a lot of drivers behind him that are itching to be where he is currently at. Thomas Sewell not quite able to get enough speed right now. Drivers that are in his line up top kind of sparsed out, spreading out, and opting to drop down low where a little bit more speed seems to be forming for those drivers opting to stay down there. As look at that, Benny Hogan, Nick Nickerson, Howie Brees, excuse me, keep getting that one wrong. All 3 of these drivers are starting to push themselves out in front of the 77 of Thomas Sewell. Let's see if Thomas is going to respond back now that he's got a little bit of support from that Fallout 76 of Charles Jurek. Looking at these guys go side by side this long is just, it's absolutely entertaining. Looking at Tom Mercier, excuse me, in the 68 machine in 10th place currently. On the outside of the 3 of Logan Jones. These guys here, they're a little bit more spread out than our drivers in the front that are, oh God, fighting tooth and nail at this point for position. So a little bit more calm, collected racing from these guys here, kind of towards the end of the top 10, if you will. James Miller in the 09 machine being in 10th place currently. What a shot. Oh, looks like for a moment we were going to get unsettled up there in the front. Not sure who that was. It looks like possibly the 97 of Howie Brees. No, that is not. That is the 85, I think. Yes, that is the 85 of Cody Welsh, it looked like. He got unstable. I think that was coming out of turn 2 about a lap ago now at this point, as I was trying to figure out what driver I was even talking about. But even still, yeah, lap 36 of 120. Drivers have come down into pit road twice already now, with the exception of Benny Hogan and Thomas Sewell. Both of these drivers opted to stay out last time around, so they came in lap 18. Everyone else lap 29, the second caution that we saw fly for this race here today. So a couple different strategies being put out here. Let's take a ride up to the Team Goon Squad blimp that flew down to Daytona this morning for the race here tonight. Just taking a look. Ooh, must be right on top of the track right now. But Kevin Foster in that number 8 machine in 9th place currently. What a great view of our drivers working their way into turn 1, or past the checkered line into turn 1 rather. Charles Jurek in the number 2 machine, gonna take the lead for almost a minute. But Nick Nickerson out on that inside. Oh man, look at the battles forming up here. This is just absolutely thrilling to watch. Let's take a ride on board with Benny Hogan in the 05 machine and see what happens here. Oh man, 4th place driver Benny trying to, oh look at this, giving him a push, trying to do whatever he possibly can. Let's go across the checkered line into turn 1. Let's keep going Benny pushing. I believe that's the 2 machine of Nick Nickerson. No, that is not. That's Charles. Charles Jurek that he's trying to push in here. Down the back stretch out of turn 2. Come on, let's go. He's saying Benny's pushing on that throttle, trying to give him a little bit of a push with that bumper. Keep it going. Let's keep racing. Daytona never fails to be exciting, folks. What a race that we are seeing here for the season opener of the VRL Cup Series for 2022. Look at that. Look at that 5 of Benny Hogan pushing the 76 of Charles. Oh, that is just bumper lock is just a great thing. Great thing to watch, great thing to witness. Someone's looking to go 3 wide here. And I think it's gonna be Benny. Oh, look at that, look at that. We have the 97 of Howie Brees. Down on the inside. Yeah, what a view is right. Tanya's in the chat. Oh, man, look at this. Driver's already shaping up here in the front of the field. Nick Nickerson able to take advantage of that for the lead for just a moment. Charles Jurek on the outside across the checkered line into turn 1. Here we go. Let's see what happens and what unfolds for these guys. We are just tossing back and forth the leaders for this race. It just does not end. These guys absolutely giving it all they got. Lap 40 of 120, 20 laps to go before the halfway mark. And these guys are racing like it's the last 20. This is thrilling to watch here up here in the booth, and I hope everyone watching at home is also enjoying. The 09 machine of James Miller in 7th place, the 5. Oh no! We have a driver on his roof for just a moment. The 5 of Benny Hogan involved in that one. Oh no. Oh no. Let's take a look here, folks. So looking here at Kevin Foster in the 8 machine and going to be on the outside. Checks up hard. Oh, look at that car rolling. The 5 of Benny Hogan. Oh, gosh. More drivers. More drivers getting absolutely wrecked here in this 3rd caution of the race. Is the 53 out. Michael Keithley is, he's actually not out of the race, but he is down, I think, 11 laps at this point in time at the race. So not having the best day at Daytona, Michael Keithley. In the 53. Not exactly sure what happened for Michael. He's been down for quite some time, so it might have been an earlier incident that I just didn't catch. But Michael's still out on track, trying to have a good day, trying to keep everything going, keep this race going. So a lot of these drivers here getting collected in that incident as well. Whew. Couple drivers finding themselves down into pit road. James Miller, Keith Lee. Both of those drivers down in the pits at this point in time. Looks like going to be getting some damage repaired to both of those vehicles as well. So, well, I was trying to get you guys a better shot of that, but it looks like we have drivers working their way down into pit road here. So with that in mind, we're going to take another short commercial break here, folks. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for the Daytona 300 here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned, folks, for more iRacing here on Team Goon Squad.
distance. It's dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Welcome back once again, race fans, here to Daytona for the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. We are on the third caution of the race here tonight. And honestly, given the performance from all the drivers that we've seen already, well, you can't necessarily blame any individual driver. We've seen it already throughout the broadcast just how difficult it is out on track. And Sean Williams, we're getting a message in the chat. Sean got slammed but has no damage. I'm not exactly certain what that might be. I don't believe there are any fast repairs for this race. Yeah, I don't believe there is. I'm pretty sure that there aren't any available for the race. So I'm not exactly certain how that 89 machine is looking so pristine here, but hey, if I was Sean Williams right now and my machine is looking pristine and I'm still racing, I think I'll just run with it. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna say anything. If someone else says something, well then, oh well. But as we go green flag racing here. Once again, everyone, lap 45 of 120. Michael Ashmore in the 98 machine, going to be our race leader, but that is not going to leave him without competition. Tom Murcia going to be in the 68 machine on his outside in second place right now. These guys still bobbing and weaving, just bumping all over this track here. Looks like we have drivers dropping down low. Michael Ashmore going to come down pit road. It looks like his last time into pit road was last lap 29. And no, he is not. No, he is not going to come down pit road. A bit of a fake out there, possibly? Unless he's going to come back down here. There. Nope. Nope. Wait for it. Wait for it. He going to come? No, he's not. All right. So, not exactly sure why Michael Ashmore fell back so far. 15th now. Not sure if that was a decision by race control or if that was a decision by Michael himself. But either way, Tom Murcia going to be now side by side with Howie Brees in that 97 machine for the race lead. Let's take another look back on board. Let's ride with the 87 of Daniel Mosteller in that 87 in second place right now. Look at him push that 97 of Howie Brees. There he goes, trying to make his attempt for the lead around the outside of that 97 machine. Let's take a look back here at Patrick Colby in the 9 machine, kind of hopping around drivers here as we go. But just to get a good goal, man, you can see these guys bouncing all over the place on the track coming into turn 1. fantastic driving from all these drivers. 190 miles an hour. We're actually seeing top speeds of 200 for some drivers here as well. 198 for a lot of our drivers here as well. So these guys are not going slow by any means necessary, or by any means at all. It's definitely some very fast-paced racing here, and when you're going this quick, it's, oh man, it's challenging to make those fine movements, those fine, steady adjustments, and not let yourself get involved in any major wrecks, any major incidents. Look at that, the 53 machine wanting to go 3 wide there for just a moment. So we try to just get a better look at the whole field here. Take in the views at Daytona of the VRL Cup Series. Just an overall just wonderful view here of the field. Looking at the 5 of Benny Hogan right now. In 5th place right now, he's got the 11 of Bill Harkins riding on his outside now. Going to be challenging him for that 5th place spot. Bill looking like he's going to be able to, successfully take it with that mean dive down to the inside line. A lot of bumps at Daytona is right. A lot of them. It's definitely not an easy track here. Daniel finding himself down on the apron on the backstretch. Going to be falling back to 10th place now. That's going to give the lead now to Patrick Colby. Things are shaping up here, shaking up in the front of the field here, and it's just very strange. We have guys that are just opting to, it seems like just choosing on their own to just fall back and kind of give themselves a breath almost. It definitely seems like this is going to be some stressful racing for the remainder of the race here at Daytona. Lap 50 of 120. 70 laps left to go here before we see the checkered flag fly. And these guys still have been 2 wide, practically the whole field deep since the start of this race. And I can only imagine what that's like mentally, trying to race for this long and stay this consistent. Now, given the current pace of things, we're almost at about an hour at our current race length, give or take. About 50 minutes is our current race time. And we're not even halfway. So when you kind of think about that from the perspective of a driver, and you're starting to think to yourself, all right, well, I have to race for 2 hours straight, give or take a few minutes, it's challenging. It is extremely challenging. And again, when we were talking earlier about how fast these guys are going, 190, 200 miles an hour in some cases for these drivers. These guys are booking it here at Daytona, and that's the purpose of a super speedway. You know, that's the whole point. Is it's super fast, no braking, just get on the pedal and go. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. These guys are doing it to a T. Now, we've seen some struggles, we've seen some challenges throughout this race, but it's definitely not putting anyone out of the picture here today. We got a question in the chat here once again. How many quick repairs do they have? And that is a good question. I'm not actually certain on that one. I did try to find that out here myself up here in the booth, but it does not seem like they do have any, if any at all. I would assume that if they do have any, it's probably 1. That's usually the limit for that I've seen in most places, but that could be different here. I will try to see if we can figure that out here in the booth and see if we can determine that here in a moment. But lap 52 of 120 here at Daytona. And I gotta say, folks, it has been quite the race here, and it looks like our software has decided to take a quick nap. So we are going to go ahead and get that sorted back out here up here in the booth, and you guys can go ahead and enjoy the sounds of Daytona for just a moment, and we will be right back. All right, folks, welcome back. Looks like we got everything sorted back out here. Sometimes that'll happen on those little jobs. So we're back here with the action. We're still looking here at how the field is shaping up. Looks like Howie Brees, Patrick Colby, Charles Jurek. First, second, and third. Tony Hildebrand's also working his way into the mix here. And Tony Hildebrand's, if I'm not mistaken, or actually Howie Brees, is one of the drivers that we're going to be expecting, one of the crown jewel drivers for today's race. So lap 56 of 120, getting ever and ever closer to that halfway mark for today's race. So that definitely has an opportunity for a win here. But given that we're not even halfway through this race, there's still a long time to go. As I was mentioning just a little bit ago, 2 hours that you're going to be behind the wheel of this car. That's a long time. And so far, everyone here has done a great job. This has been an hour nearly of just driving, and with the few cautions that we had, so there was definitely a little bit of time that we spent behind the pace car. But even still, if we weren't to have those cautions, we'd probably still be around lap 70 or so, maybe lap 80 if I had to guess, given the time that we were under yellow during that time. So with that in mind, we're still roughly at about the same place we would be, and that's just one thing that you have to think about as a driver, as a team owner, as someone in a race team. When you're out there for that long, driver fatigue definitely becomes a thing. But everyone here doing the best they can, trying to stay as focused as possible. And a lot of these drivers here have some razor sharp focus that we've seen already. But again, a lot of this field has started to shake up quite a bit. Movers and shakers all over. And not a lot of our leaders have really stayed consistent, if you will. We've had guys all over the place on this track, and it's just continuing to change as we watch on. Howie Brees, Patrick Colby, both first and second right now. Tanya Mitchell in the chat is right. This is a driver track, handling, and a drafting track. That's absolutely right. All of those things are absolutely right. And these cars are also definitely a handful to manage on a track like this. So you got to give credit to these guys. Every single one of these drivers here today is doing an incredible job just trying to keep this race green and ultimately trying to be competitive. And we're seeing a lot of competition from almost every single one of these drivers, if not all of them. But as we watch on, lap 59 of 120 here for the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. And this has been a lot of just excellent racing. Look at that up in the front of the field as we're watching here with Kevin Foster in that 8 machine on the outside of the 11 of Bill Harkins. You can see just up in front how unsteady some of these guys are getting here. Let's take a look back up top with the blimp camera. Ooh, look at that. 69 of Matthew Fitz. Bobbing and weaving all over the track here, as well as many other drivers are. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. These guys are fighting this track tooth and nail to make it work. And again, you got to give credit to them. They're doing a fantastic job trying to stick with it, trying to keep with it. As we see a battle for the front. Look at these drivers pushing one another out in the front of the field, getting as close to one another as they possibly can, almost door to door. Come into turn 1 here. Howie Brees going to be the one out on top at the moment. Patrick Colby down on the inside, but doesn't look like he's going to have enough support from the guys behind him. Howie, on the other hand, has got the 35. Looks like that was the 35. I'm not sure who that was. The 57. The 53. Excuse me. I'm getting all my numbers wrong. The 53, who's actually Michael Keithley. Michael Keithley is a driver who's actually down a few laps. So we have a driver who's lap traffic, who's supporting the guys up front. That is just absolutely fantastic. Love to see it. Love to see it. So we have lap traffic involved in this front pack, and I'm sure that if I was anyone on the lead lap right now trying to fight for any of these top 3, top 5 positions, yeah, having a guy, I mean, I respect not wanting to have yourself get lapped again. Definitely don't want to get lapped. That sucks. But when you're trying to work around them, it can get a little frustrating sometimes, especially it makes it feel like so much farther away in a sense. So we'll probably see some frustrations down on the track as that unfolds here, but lap 63 of 120 as all the drivers cross the line and into turn 1. Howie Brees, still our race leader, and doing incredible work here for the Daytona 300. Let's see here if we can take a different perspective on board. That's not what I wanted. All right, well, not what I was expecting, but as we ride on board, ooh, the yellow flag is out. What happened here? Michael Ashmore going to be involved in something. Oh, boy. What's going on here? We got drivers all over the place. Benny Hogan's down here on the bottom of the track in the grass. What on earth? So let's take a look here from Benny Hogan's perspective. Oh, as he gets the 10 machine sideways, Nicholas Lavelle sends him spinning up into the wall. I believe that was out of turn 2. Down into the grass. Wow. So that's going to send another caution out for the race here today. I believe this is our 4th or 5th caution. Well, we won't know because our software, again, decided to take a nap a little bit ago, so all of our information that we had previously is now poof, gone, thin air. So we're back on a clean slate. So if you would like to pretend that we are on the first caution of the race, you are more than welcome to. I won't stop you, but I think we are technically on the 4th or 5th caution of the race here today. But with that in mind, we're going to take another commercial break here, folks. Let the drivers get themselves sorted back out, take a breath, get into the pit road if they need to, get things sorted back out. We're going to take a breather up here in the booth, grab ourselves something to drink. We'll be right back here with the action for the 2022 VRL Cup Series here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned. We will be right back with more iRacing here on Team Goon Squad.
distance. It's dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
And welcome back, race fans, to the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. I hope everyone has been enjoying the broadcast so far and been enjoying the race. I certainly have up here in the booth. We've seen a lot of great racing, a lot of very clean, very smooth driving here. And ultimately, the cautions that have come out here for today's race have ultimately been just minor hiccups that have spiraled into bigger wrecks. Which, being on the fourth or fifth caution that we're on here today, we've seen quite a few drivers find themselves either down quite a few laps or ultimately out of the race entirely. Looks like we have two drivers that are going to be either out or still in the pits due to damage. And that's going to be Nick Nickerson. Aaron Smith is actually confirmed out of the race. So the 70 machine has parked it for the night. It's called it a day here at Daytona. As we get ready for the pace car to dive back down into pit road and get ready for more green flag racing here at Daytona for the Daytona 300. Patiently waiting for that pace car to make its dive down into pit road, and there it goes. The green flag is going to fly. Tony Hilbrand's in the 92. Going to be out in front with launch on the field. Not quite able to get away, as I'm sure he was probably hoping for. Charles Guzik. Or Jurek, excuse me, not Guzik. Going to be on his outside here, battling for that first place position. Charles able to get a little bit more speed as Howie Brees in that 97, giving a lot of bump draft support to that 76 as they work their way on the outside out of turn, or into turn 3. Look at that, the 89, Sean Williams, trying to drop down low, take advantage, get out in front on that bottom line. It's going to work out in his favor. Is it going to work out, though, coming into turn 1? Tony Hilbrand fell back there just a little bit. That's going to leave a little bit of a gap. Oh, are we going to go 3 wide? Yes, we are, into turn 1. Here we go once again, folks. The battles just don't end. Look at that. We have drivers moving and shaking all over the track. Coming out of turn 2 down the back stretch, we have Sean Williams trying to drop down low, but that's not going to work out in his favor. He's going to fall back a few positions back down into 8th place. What some racing that we have seen from all of these drivers here. Howie Brees that we're looking at now in the 97 machine, going to be in 2nd place. He's going to have support from the 92 of Tony Hilbrand's right behind him. Look at that draft. Oh, look at the draft from the outside, though. Charles Guzik. Jurek, excuse me. I keep mixing those names up. Charles Jurek, Nicholas Lavelle on the outside line. You also have, looks like, can't see the number on that one. Matthew Fitz possibly in that 69 machine. Going to be on the outside row, just absolutely pushing. Trying to find every bit of room that they can here out on track. Some fantastic racing that we're seeing from all of these guys here. Looking a little bit back towards the rear, middle-ish of the field, Bill Harkins in that number 11 machine, going to be in 9th place currently, kind of at the tail end of this pack at the front. Just trying to stick with it, stay in this field. Look at this shot. Oh, man. That is absolutely fantastic to see. As Bill Harkins finally is going to start to work his way now in with the front pack. Oh, man. Oh, look at that. The 69, Matthew Fitz, gets a little unstable there for a second. Almost collides with the bottom row. Keeps it together, though. We're still racing. Lap 70 of 120, just over the halfway point through this race. And all the gloves are off now at this point. It's go time. Well, it's not go time, but it's go time for now. We're going to ride on board here for just a moment with Kevin Foster in the number 8 machine, and we're going to have a listen on board for a lap around Daytona with Kevin Foster. Some questions in chat where some drivers are. The first one, Cody Welch in the 85 machine, is actually going to find himself in 23rd position right now, and I do believe he is going to be down, looks like he's going to be down about 8 laps currently. And then the next one, Nick Nickerson, is going to, he's not out of the race, but he is going to be in pit road at this time. And look at the damage on that. Oops, wrong one. You can see he's missing his front right tire. So there's definitely some damage on that number 2 machine, and it does not look like he's going to stay out here for today. And it does look like our software has decided to take another nap again. Not sure what its deal is. Definitely having some issues, it would seem like. So we will be right back once again and try and get this sorted out for you folks. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
All right, folks, we are back to green flag racing. Apologies for that once again. And looks like Charles Jurek, Howie Brees, going to be first and second here. Lap 74 of 120. As they come across the line. Oh, man, coming into turn 1, we are still bumper to bumper for a lot of these guys here up in the front, and it hasn't changed this entire race. It's been this way this whole time. And having these restarts come out the way that they have definitely helps keep the racing kind of bumper to bumper like this. This definitely is what I would expect to see from a race like this. So right now, a lot of these guys are going to be still fighting this track, fighting these cars, but still managing to do whatever they can. You can see the 5 machine, Benny Hogan, working his way down low to avoid the train of cars coming around him. This looks like Charles Jurek going to try and take a lead here on the front of the field and possibly get away with it, but looking back behind him, there's still a lot of drivers side by side, and it actually looks like we're starting to see some guys wanting to go single file here in some parts of the track, but right as I say that, they go double file once again. So as we continue on, Sean Williams in the 89 machine in 6th place currently. Ooh, we got a driver making some but Sean Williams right now in 6th place, still kind of in the middle of this pack right now, with Matthew Fitz right on his outside. And this is a spot where I think myself if I was a driver in this situation, I would be quite nervous. If we ride on board with Sean Williams, you can just see everyone bobbing and weaving around in front of you. And if any of these drivers decide to spin around or collect into a wreck, it's going to be a tough one to try and avoid that. Look at these guys just bouncing through turn 3 and 4. So if I was Sean Williams, I would definitely be gripping that wheel pretty tight right now, and definitely would be trying to make sure I'm not making any major mistakes here. But continuing on with our race, lap 78 of 120, Logan Jones in that number 3 machine. In 4th place now, currently kind of riding right behind the guys that are both bumper to bumper at this point in time, coming into turn 3 and 4. And so for the majority of this race, this is a lot of what we've seen. Bumper to bumper, almost door to door racing. And I don't think that's going to change here anytime soon. It's ultimately a game of, well, one of our commentators said it earlier. It's a game of chess. That's a great way to put it. It's ultimately putting yourself in the best possible spot. Ooh, look at this. We got a little bit of checkup happening. Drivers slowing down to avoid slamming into the back of one another. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a wreck coming out again, but it's a little bit too quick to assume. A little bit too quick. So Howie Brees right now and Kevin Foster going to be out in front, leading this race. Actually, looks like we have a driver that's lap traffic. That's going to be the 97. Nope, that's Howie Brees. Never mind. Yeah, I was a little confused there for a moment, but Howie Brees, Kevin Foster. Ooh, that 09 machine there. So there is a driver who is going to be involved in the mix here at the front of the pack. I'm trying to figure out who that driver is. Oh, James Miller. There we go. James Miller, 24th right now. He's going to be down almost 10 laps. But right now, he's technically the leader in this pack. But our actual race leader is Howie Brees, who's on his outside right now. And we are colliding. Look at that. Charles Jurek in the 76 machine. Oh, just the slightest tap. Let's take a look at this one more time. Ooh, hang on. Let's back that up. All right. We're going to take things. Oh, man. You can see more drivers getting involved. Oh, man. A lot of our race leaders collected in that one. That's going to send out the caution once more. I think this is sixth caution of the race here today. Again, if you see this is the first caution on your screen and you would like to believe that it is the first caution of the race, I would almost say I encourage you to. It'd probably make you feel better. Who you won't think will win, is what Tanya Mitchell is saying in the chat for today's race. That is her prediction, and honestly, I'm starting to think that she's right, as we are seeing a lot of our drivers that have been leading this race get involved in these wrecks, getting collected in them, and it's just changing up the front of the field just time after time after time again. And if we continue to see the trend that we have seen where we're side-by-side racing for practically the majority of the race, once we get into those final 10, final 5 laps, oh man, that's where nerves are really going to settle in for a lot of these guys, I think. And I think that's possibly where we're going to see some really interesting things happen. But with that in mind, folks, we're going to go to a very quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Stay tuned for more of the 2022 VRL Cup Series here on Team Goon Squad. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more iRacing here on Team Goon Squad.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
And welcome back, race fans, to the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. We are patiently waiting for the field to get themselves settled behind the pace car once again. Joseph Penn in the chat, taking some stabs at the broadcast team as we patiently wait for our drivers to get themselves ready for the next restart here and to finish out today's race at Daytona. Well, not necessarily finish out, but to at least have another chance at a green flag run here in, I would say, actually the final quarter of this race here today. Get ready to go green flag. Once the pace car drops down into pit road, there we go. Howie Brees, Bill Harkins gonna be our race leaders on this restart. Howie Brees, just enough room out in front. Is he gonna drop down low once he comes into turn one? I don't know. Here we go. Howie on the outside. Bill Harkins still pushing it down on the inside. Ooh, look at that. The three of Logan Jones wiggling all over the place. He's trying to stay on the rear end of Bill Harkins. These guys all over each other right now. Matthew Fitz in that 6'9" machine. Looks like on the outside right now of the three of Logan Jones. As these guys continue. Oh, man. Bumper to bumper, 4 deep here on the inside line. Bill Harkins, the leader in this bottom line pack here, but Howie Brees still able to keep out in front just enough to maintain the race lead in that number 97 machine with just a little bit of support from the 6'9" of Matthew Fitz right behind him on his tail. We're going to ride on board here with Logan Jones in the 3 machine down low as he follows behind Bill Harkins in that 11 machine. Look at Bill. He just got onto the apron there just barely. Oh, man. Almost snapped back up into the rest of the field there, but great work there from that 11 machine. Keeping it together, keeping it clean. So we look at Tony Hilbrand in the 92 machine, falling back into 9th place now. Another driver here that we saw with a great run towards the beginning, but as we've seen already, a lot of drivers that we've seen out in front have not stayed there for very long. We have seen the lead change hands so many times this race. I don't even have a count. I can't even tell you how many times it's changed hands here tonight. It's wild. And we saw for just a moment there, just a little bit ago, 3 wide up here in the front. Looks like Logan Jones is itching to try and make a pass here happen, but I don't know exactly if I would want to be doing that. I don't know. With all the carnage that we've seen already throughout this race, I don't know. I don't know if I would be taking chances like that. Speaking of chances, who was that? Was that? Nope, that wasn't Pat. That was Kevin Foster, I think. I think that was Kevin Foster in the 8 machine. Nope, that is not Kevin Foster. Who is that? I think that might be another lap driver. It is. It's the 2 of Nick Nickerson. He's trying to work his way back through the field. He's down over 20 laps. He's on lap 55 right now. Everyone else is on lap 88. But he's up here trying to work his way through the field. He's trying to finish out this race. He's saying, I want to go. Let's keep going. That is absolutely fantastic. I just saw Nick Nickerson just fly to the top line there a moment ago, and man, he is just moving and grooving through this field, trying to move through this pack as much as he possibly can. So a lot of these guys here, they're not afraid to get down and dirty with the guys that are out in front and put on a good show, put on a good race. And even if they are not technically on the lead lap, they're still going to give support, trying to give the pushes out in front, or to just rather the driver in front of them where they possibly can. So a lot of great driving, a lot of friendly driving, I would say, I guess is the word I would use. Who is that? Kevin Foster not having a great moment out of turn 2. Gets up into the wall. He falls back hard. Down to 19th is where he's at now, and he is all in his lonesome. Lap 90 of 120 here as well. 30 laps left here to go. That is going to hurt that 8 machine of Kevin Foster. Howie Breeze, Matthew Fitz, going to be our race leaders now. Out in front. Still duking it out, trying to, and still we're seeing guys wanting to go 3 wide. I can just feel it. I can sense it. I can see it happening already, and oh man, that just shows that these guys are they're willing to do whatever it takes to come home with the win tonight. And Howie Brees, again, a driver that is on the line for that $100 for the crown jewel. Will he be able to take home the win, take home that $100 with him as well? We'll find out. There's still plenty of racing left to do here, but Howie Brees seems to be quite comfortable right now. He's got Matthew Fitz to deal with down on his inside in that 6.9 machine. The 11 of Bill Harkins as well, giving Matthew quite the push now as they work their way out in front of the 97. These guys, absolutely fantastic racing from every single one of these guys. And it's almost hard to tune away from them up here in the booth, honestly. It's really hard to tune away from these guys up here in the front. You know, we're just kind of locked on them here, and it's just so thrilling to watch. These guys are doing such a fantastic job. Lap 93 of 120. And it's just been bumper to bumper racing this whole time. Ooh, look at that. Bill Harkins starting to get a little impatient here. He drops way down. Gonna let the field pass by him, it looks like. That is unfortunate for Bill Harkins. Now, I'm almost wondering if there is a penalty for passing over the yellow line. I'm not sure if that's enforced here, but I'll have to go back and look. But that might be a possibility, and why we're seeing some of these drivers fall back as much as they are. So we'll check back in on that. We'll double check to make sure that that is not the case here. But Nicholas Lavelle in the number 10 machine in Matthew Fitz. Both in the lead right now. Howie Brees, second place. He is trying to find a way around the 10 machine of Nicholas Lavelle right now, as we ride on board with the 97 machine. Still staying on the outside, kind of middle line of everyone else. And it looks like Nicholas Lavelle is opting to stay there as well. Maybe, nope, he's trying to find a room down there as well. He's trying to get around the 69 of Matthew Fitz, who's now taken the lead, but only just by an inch. As we work our way back into turn 1 here once again. 26 laps left to go here for the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. I hope everyone has been enjoying the race thus far. Thomas Sewell in the 77 machine. Look at that. Tony Hilbrands in the 92, shaking and baking his way into third place, down on the inside. There he goes, all the way up back into first place with the support of the 69 of Matthew Fitz. But doesn't last quite long. Nicholas Lavelle still has quite a bit of support up top. He's got Howie Brees as well right behind him, giving him a little bit of bump draft support. We work our way into turn 1 and out of turn 2 into the back stretch. Looking at Daniel Mosteller in the 87 machine in 8th place currently. Just trying to keep up with as many drivers as we possibly can here. Trying to get a good look at everyone as much as we can, but the action just does not stop out here in the front of the field with 25 laps left to go. Daniel up 19 positions from where he started, and he's not the only one who has worked their way up a ridiculous amount in the field, and that's just partially due to the fact that we've had quite a few cautions come out. We've seen a number of drivers out of the race because of those cautions, because of those incidents. So a lot of these guys have been able to work their way up a number of positions. Daniel Mosteller up 19, Logan Jones up 18, Matthew Fitz 14, Nicholas Avell up 10, just to name a few right off the bat. And it's just absolutely impressive how this race has turned out, how everything has slowly unraveled throughout the course of this race here today. Howie Brees still leading this race. He is wanting to take home the win for the Crown Jewel Challenge for the season opener of the race of the season. But he has Nicholas Lavelle to fight for it. And who do we see just behind the 10 of Nicholas Lavelle? Tony Hilbrands, the number 92. So we might even have a two-way shootout for the Crown Jewel Challenge win here at Daytona, here for the season opener of the 2022 VRL Cup Series, as we work our way out of turn 4 and across the checkered line into turn 1 here once again. Going to give us 22 laps left to go here. And Tanya Mitchell in the chat, Dale Earnhardt went from last to first in 1 lap at Talladega. It can be done here. Let's just hope that it doesn't happen that way. Let's hope that we see these drivers have an opportunity at a nice green flag run here, as Nicholas Lavelle and Howie Brees still fighting for this first place position. Bill Harkins in the number 11 machine, who we were watching a bit ago, who was out in front, was giving a bit of giving Howie Brees a bit of a run for his money. In 10th place now. Worked his way back up through the field quite well, actually. Is back into the front pack at the tail end of it at this point, and going to be on the outside of the 94 of Colby Kersey. And with 21 laps left to go here, we're getting closer and closer. Oh, no! Right as I say that, the caution flies. More drivers getting involved in a wreck. Oh, no. Let's see here. We're looking at Scott Shire in the 4 machine in that black and green Fox. Oh, look at this. Look at the cars in front. Oh, man. We're going to take another perspective here from Michael Keithley, why did I say Keith Keithley? Unable to find a way around that. No chance. Oh, man. And it just keeps happening, folks. We're seeing more and more drivers get collected in these small incidents, and it's rough to see. It's absolutely rough to see. with 19 laps left to go here, folks. Some drivers opting to come down into pit road here as well. Tony Hillbrands, Patrick Colby, Brett Guzik, Howie Dietrich, Matthew Fitz, Benny Hogan, just to name a few drivers here coming down here into pit road. Assuming to get another set of tires, a final set of tires, and the last final bit of fuel. And we will begin. Hopefully the last green flag run here for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Daytona 300. The first of the Crown Jewel Challenge. Tanya Mitchell, welcome to the chess match. And yeah, that is definitely right. And really, ultimately, the less laps that we have to work with, the more of a strategy game that it becomes. It's especially when you have cautions come out this late in the race, it definitely becomes a massive strategy game. Your restarts are crucial when you are this late into the race, and you have the caution and you have the chance at another restart. If you're a driver that is hoping for something like that, if you're sitting there hoping to yourself, man, I wish a caution would come out right now, which sometimes is the case. Some drivers are willing or more accepting of having cautions come out. It definitely lets them have a bit of a breather, take a break, and it's easy opportunity to take it down pit road, do what you need to do, and come back out onto the track, and not have to worry about green flag stops. Having to do pit stops under green flag definitely takes some practice, and here at Daytona, I'm sure it is quite the challenge here with the ARCAs. But with 18 laps left to go here, folks, as we work our way through down the backstretch rather, and coming into turn 3, we will come out of turn 4, and the pace car is going to come down into pit road, and we are going to get started here once more for the Daytona 300 for the VRL Cup Series. Nicholas Lavelle, Thomas Sewell going to be starting out in the front with 18 to go, and here we go. The pace car is going to drop down into pit road right about now, and the green flag will fly once more here at Daytona. Thomas Sewell, Nicholas Lavelle. Nicholas actually finding himself in a little bit of a pickle down on the outside. Oh man, not able to keep up with the guys down on the inside. Thomas Sewell able to take it away. He's got the support of, Charles Jurek right on his tail, pushing him as much as he can. The 10 machine, though, starting to get a little bit more speed. Oh, look at that. Howie Dietrich in the 34 drops down to the outside, or to the apron. He's going to fall back quite significantly. We work our way now through turns 3 and 4. James Colby in the 12 machine in 5th place right now. Look at that, right smack dab in the middle of all of these drivers here. 2 wide, I would say 8 deep. No, more than that. Probably 9 deep, 10 deep. Either way, this field is absolutely impressive here in this final portion of the race with 16 laps left to go. Let's take a moment here. Let's ride on board. Wrong driver. James Colby in the 12 machine as he follows behind Charles Jurek in that 76. Oh, look at that. Oh, James getting way on the outside there. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but he's going to be on the outside row now. I'm not sure if any other drivers were behind him that were looking to avoid that, but James still on the charge. He's going to be pushing right behind the 06 of Jeffrey Fisher as we continue on here with our race. 15 laps left to go. This is it, folks. This is where things are really, this is where things matter. This is where anything can happen. Anyone can win. Just like Tanya said, anyone can win. Anything can happen at this point. And at this point, I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm looking all over the track at this point, and it's hard to say who is going to be the one to take home the win. Colby Kersey, Nicholas Lavelle out in front right now. Jeffrey Fisher, Thomas Sewell, both third and fourth, right behind them as well. And Howie Brees, and Tony Hilbrands, both of those drivers that we were expecting to come home with the win for the Crown Jewel Challenge, now both going to be 7th and 8th respectively, and that could quite possibly hurt their race here tonight. 14 laps left to go. Time is going to be ticking away here very quickly. Working our way through turn 3. Once again, everyone's still, look at that outside line. You can kind of, it's like an accordion, how they all, it's like a wave almost. Looking like we're going 3 wide here. Look at that up in the front. Tony Hilbrands, he's trying to get everything he possibly can out of that 92 machine here, working his way all the way into 6th place now, around the 97 of Howie Brees. But Howie actually down on his inside, it looks like, not giving up that easily. Look at all these drivers here. They are pushing it. Oh, no! The caution comes out here once more. Oh, Tony Hilbrands involved in that one here as well. I believe Howie Brees also collected in that. We were lucky enough to be watching right on with that as it unfolded. Let's see if we can take another look at that and see how this unfolds. Tony Hilbrand, oh man. Drivers trying to check up. Tony collected in that one, the 5. Benny Hogan getting into the rear end of Tony Hilbrands. That's going to send him down into 17th. With 12 laps left to go here, folks. Oh, my gosh. This has been quite the race here tonight, and for these drivers, I think it's getting to the point now where they just want to get it done. They want to get it over with. They want to complete this race and see how it ends. And with only 12 laps left to go, there's not a whole lot of time left to really see any of our Crown Jewel drivers to come home with any wins. Let's actually take another look here and see who else we're missing as far as Crown Jewel drivers. We have Scott Shire, who's 14th right now. James Colby, who's in 6th right now, who might possibly be the only one that has a shot at taking home the win here tonight. And Sean Williams, who is 23rd right now and down 9 laps at this point in time. So I don't think any of our Crown Jewel drivers are going to be coming home with the win and taking home that $100 with them as well. But it was good to see that we had a fight between both Howie Brees and Tony Hilbrands, both Crown Jewel drivers for this race here today. They were side by side. They were duking it out for quite some time, and they both seemed like they had an opportunity, a chance at taking home the win here. And frankly, if this field wasn't getting collected into one another as much as they are, it very well could have been that would have stayed that way, that those two drivers would have stayed out in front and possibly taken home the win. But this is Daytona. Daytona is not exactly known for green flag runs, so I don't know what else I would expect from a race like this here at Daytona. This is definitely not a track that you come to and expect it to go well. There is always something that is going to go bad. Whether it's for yourself, whether it's for someone else, something is bound to happen, and it's just a matter of when. Not if, but when. So, as we continue to follow along with the pace car here, Colby Kersey becoming one with the pace car, and gonna be leading out in the front of the field here on this restart here with 10 laps left to go here at Daytona for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. And folks, again, I hope everyone that is tuned in and has been watching is enjoying what they've seen and what they've watched. And I hope everyone is ready to see the checkered flag finally fly. As I know I certainly am ready to see who is going to come out on top for today's race. It has been a wild race from start to finish. All right, folks, here we go. Coming down the back stretch. Looking at our beautiful field here. Oh, this is it, folks. This is it. As we work our way into turn 3, into turn 4. 10 laps here at Daytona. Will our drivers be able to keep it green all the way to the end? Or will we see another caution here one more time before the end of the race? Let's find out. As the pace car comes down into pit road, the green flag is going to fly once again. Colby Kersey in the lead with Nicholas Lavelle on the outside in the 10 machine. Nicholas giving Colby a run for his money here going into turn 1. Is it going to be enough to stick with? Oh, I don't think so. That's not going to quite work out for the 10 machine of Nicholas Lavelle. Jeffrey Fisher in that 06 giving a push to Colby Kersey down on that inside line, trying to push that 94 machine out in front of that 10 as much as he can, but things are changing out on the top of the line as well. Benny Hogan, who we saw up front here as well, I believe, earlier on in the race, he's back. He's up here in 4th place right now on the outside, right behind the 10 of Nicholas Lavelle, trying to make something happen for himself here. Look at this, Jeffrey Fisher in the 06 machine here as well. We got a few drivers, lap drivers that are in here in the mix at the front of the field. 8 laps left to go here at Daytona. Oh man, are we gonna keep it steady? The 5 of Benny Hogan, he's looking to try and take it wide here, possibly. Going down the back stretch though, he decides against that decision, and probably for the best. This is definitely probably not the point in the race that you want to be taking risk like that. But Benny Hogan, here we go, looking still. Staying behind that 10 machine, just trying to keep up with that draft. All of these drivers here doing extremely well. Looking up with the blip camera. James Colby in that 12 machine. Can't really tell where he is right now looking with the blimp, but just looking at that impressive field at this from up here is always a great thing to see. But Brett Guzik. Keep getting that one wrong. Brett Guzik in the 04 machine. On the outside in 7th place right now. Look at how these guys are. Oh man, they're all bobbing and weaving all over the place, trying to make moves, making shake and bake all over where they possibly can. Benny Hogan that we're riding along with right now in the 5 machine. Look at how close the 10 and the 94 of Nicholas Lavelle and Colby Kersey are. Watch as we go into turn 1 here. You can just see how unsteady, unstable these cars look and probably feel just from this camera angle. Going down the back stretch, though, look at this run from Benny Hogan, pushing that 10 machine of Nicholas Lavelle even further. Is it going to be enough to secure Benny Hogan a 2nd place position? Does not look like he's going to be able to here. Colby Kersey in that 94 machine down on the inside. He is determined to stay out in front. 5 laps to go. Going into turn 1, Nicholas Lavelle, Colby Kersey still side by side. Jeffrey Fisher and Benny Hogan both going to be side by side here as well. Look at this field. Oh no, look at the front. Someone getting unsettled. Coming down the back stretch, though. Oh, man, these guys are absolutely on the edge. Look at that 3 wide coming at this. Oh, no, the big one is out once again. 4 drivers collected in that one. I wouldn't even say that's necessarily the big one, but that was looking to be pretty bad there for a second. That was absolutely awful to watch. You could just see it unfolding right from the start. Budget Rides Off-Road is right. Cautions breed cautions, and I think that is exactly what happened here tonight for the Daytona 300 VRL Cup Series. As we enter, I have lost track at how many cautions we've had here tonight. Our software has crashed multiple times, so we are unable to give an accurate number, but I'm sure it's probably somewhere in the ballpark of 9 or 10 at this point. But Nicholas Lavelle, Benny Hogan, and Tem? What? I don't know where that came from. Tom Mercia going to be 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here on this restart with 4 laps left to go. 3 once the pace car crosses the line. All right, and just looking here, it does not look like that we will have any GWC attempts here. It looks like we will just have the 1 attempt, if I'm not mistaken. So with 3 laps left to go here, and it looks like the pace car still has its lights on, so it's going to be taken around the track a couple more times. I'm not sure exactly what the decision by race control is going to be, whether or not we are going to keep the 3 laps to go, or if we are just going to see the race end under yellow flag conditions, which would be extremely sad to see for our drivers. But that might be the case here. I'm not exactly certain. Once we cross the line, even if the pace car comes down into pit road next time around, there will only be 1 lap. So
how this is going to shake up here for these guys for the end of the race here. Well, that's a tough one to say, tough one to call. But Nicholas Lavelle, Benny Hogan, and Tom Garcia are both going to be, all three of them. I mean, they're looking to be pretty comfortable, pretty secure in that spot up there in the top three. And it would appear that, yes, it does look like we are going to keep our 3 laps to go. It does look like once the pace car comes down into pit road, there will be 3 laps left to go here for this race. So Nicholas Lavelle, Benny Hogan, and Colby Kersey, all 3 of these drivers here are going to be looking to take home a podium finish for the Daytona 300. All right, folks. So we work our way out of turn 3 into turn 4. Once that pace car comes down, this is it. This is the final chance. There's no more opportunities after this, I would have to imagine. But who knows? They might prove me wrong. But here we go. Pace car down into pit road. We are green flag racing once again. Nicholas Lavelle out in the front in that number 10 machine. Going to be able to get out in front of the 5 of Benny Hogan. 2 to go. Here we go. Oh, man, look at this. Coming into turn 1 out of turn 2. These guys absolutely pushing it there. Getting very, very wobbly. Coming down the back stretch. Nicholas Lavelle in that 10 machine. Oh, we're 3 wide here. Oh, man. Coming into turn 3. The 50. Oh, nope. That's the 68, it looks like. Not in an ideal spot. He's in a tight spot in that sandwich. That is looking quite uncomfortable. They crash. Oh, man. The caution comes out one more time. Oh, folks. Oh, folks. That is not what we wanted to see here. Another caution going to come back out. We're going to have another attempt here at a restart, it looks like, possibly. And how many laps is Cody down? Let's see here. Cody Welsh looks like is going to be down about 10 laps. All right, so I don't exactly have a specific number on how many chances we have at a restart. I would have to imagine it's probably 3 if I had to guess, but I could be wrong. So that was 1, if I'm not mistaken. Now this is going to be our second restart here. So let's see if these drivers are able to get it this time around. And let's see what happens. I'm very curious how Nicholas Lavelle Colby Kersey, Benny Hogan, all three of these drivers, they've had ups and downs throughout this entire race. Benny Hogan especially, we've seen having fallen back quite significantly back towards the back of the field and worked his way back up here to the top three and third now. So we've seen a lot of ups and downs throughout this race, and this is the time to shine for all of our drivers here today. Nicholas Lavelle, I think at this point, is itching to get this race done and over with. Being out here in the front is gotta be nerve-wracking, especially when everyone behind you is trying everything in their power to get themselves around you. And we can see the lights are off on the pace car. This is our final time around the track here for our next restart attempt, as we get ready to kick things off here once again for the Daytona 300 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Nicholas Lavelle, Colby Kersey, both going to be out in front. For this restart here. Again, 3 laps left to go here on this green-white checkered attempt. So let's see if these guys are going to be able to keep it together. Whew! Here we go. And here goes the pace car down into pit road. The green flag flies. Benny Hogan with the... Wow. I'm not sure if Colby Kersey was trying to check up the 5 or if he just did not have the best start there. But the 5 machine getting right into the bumper of the 94 of Colby Kersey, and Benny Hogan going to fall back quite a bit now. Now these 3 drivers up here in the front row, 2 laps left to go. They're trying to separate themselves from the rest of the field here. There's not a whole lot of time left, but there's guys behind them going 2 wide, 2 deep, and even behind them, 3 deep. Just very, very short distance behind them, and they're starting to pile back up here, going into turn 3 and out of 4, back onto the front stretch. Here we go one more time across the line. This is where things got a little uneasy. Final lap. This is it, folks. Nicholas Lavelle out in the front with Colby Kersey on his, I believe, on his outside, or his inside actually. Then the 10 gonna be in the middle row on the outside of the 94 of Colby Kersey. That's actually the 06 of Jeffrey Fisher. Oh my gosh, folks, look at this. 3 wide coming down the back stretch. Gonna come into turn 3. They're wrecking. Oh no! We're gonna stay. The white flag stays out. We're still racing. Who's gonna take it across the line for the win? Jeffrey Fisher, Howie Briss. Oh Oh my gosh, it's going to be close. They're wrecking again. Who's going to take it across the line? Jeffrey Fisher is going to win the Daytona 300. Howie Breese, taking it home for second place. Michael Ashmore taking third. Wow. What a way to finish the race here today, folks. That was absolutely... I had a feeling that was what we were going to see here tonight. And it's just unfortunate to see that's how the race ended here today, as we see multiple drivers coming across the line with wrecked cars. We even have one with his hood all the way up. Look at that. Not sure what driver that was, but that is going to conclude our race for today. We're going to go ahead and get our race results up on the screen for you here in just a second. So Jeffrey Fisher taking home the win in the 06. Howie Breese in second place. Michael Ashmore taking home third. Nicholas Lavelle in fourth. James Colby in fifth. Benny Hogan in sixth. Colby Kersey in seventh. Daniel Mosteller in eighth place. Kevin Foster in ninth. Howie Dietrich in 10th. Tom Mercia in 11th. Thomas Sewell in 12th. Patrick Colby in 13th. Matthew Fitz in 14th. Charles Jurek in 15th. Tony Hilbrands in 16th. Scott Schuer in 17th. James Miller going to be in 18th. Logan Jones in 19th. Brett Guzik. I keep getting those two mixed up. Sean Williams in 21st. Caitlin Height in 22nd. Michael Keithley in 23rd. Cody Welsh in 24th. Bill Harkins in 25th. Keith Lee in 26th. Nick Nickerson in 27th. And Aaron Smith in 28th. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started with post-race interviews here in just a short moment, as Jeffrey Fisher takes his celebratory burnouts on the front of the field. So we're going to start off with Michael Ashmore in the 98 machine. We're going to go ahead and get Michael here in the booth with us. Michael, sir, do you have a read?
I got you guys. What's going on?
Michael, it's, honestly, coming into today's race, I was half expecting things to be a little interesting, but man, was this race not what I expected it to be at all. This was up and down, left and right, back and forward the whole time. Michael, what was it like dealing with today's race, and how was it coming out here and taking home third for the season opener of the 2022 season?
Well, it beats the hell out of me how most of the race went, because I ran in the back. So I just tried to keep it clean and, just let things fall as they may with all the wrecks in the front. It's a plate race. All that stuff's going to happen. Like I said, man, just tried to keep it clean and had a shot there at the end. And I'm sure you guys have gone through the broadcast on what I very obviously could have done differently there. All I have to do is basically hold my line and I win. But I'll take a third. It's my career best finish in this league. And, man, what a hell of a race. Fun race. Congrats to Jeffrey on the win. But it's incredibly frustrating to know I had one, and I never really have a chance to win in this league or really anywhere. So to know I had a chance to win one and gave it away late like that one hurts.
Well, honestly, Michael, when you're put in a situation like that at the end of the race, and when people start wrecking out of turn 4 coming across the checkered line, it's definitely a tough thing, and that's not the only part of the race that I'm sure you're probably mentioning. But either way, Michael, you put on a heck of a race, and you kept your nose clean. You stayed out there and able to take home third, especially coming across the line there with the field wrecking the way that they did. Michael, after today's race, what's your mentality going forward? What's your thoughts right now going into next week?
Well, I know y'all are new to broadcasting the series, but spoiler alert, I kind of suck. So my mentality is pretty much just try to keep it clean and finish like P15, P20 on the lead lap, and we'll go from there, man. I'm really I'm pretty much perpetually like 12th, 15th, 18th. My goal is just to keep it clean and basically stay out of everybody's way. So, but thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks for Tony Hillbrands for putting on this league. Thanks for everybody for parting the seas in front of me and trying to gift me a dub there. But unfortunately, just didn't go my way. But that was a fun way to spend a Monday night for sure.
Absolutely, Michael. Well, thank you for joining me here in the booth, and I look forward to seeing you in the rest of the races, and hopefully we'll see you up here in the booth again throughout the season. Michael, thank you for coming up here and chat with me, and congratulations on 3rd place.
I am very happy about my bronze medal. Thanks, you guys.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
Alrighty, folks. Michael Ashmore in the 98 machine out of the booth, taking home 3rd place for today's race. Up next for their post-race interview, Howie Brees, the driver that we were expecting, one of the drivers that we were expecting to come home with the win for the Crown Jewel Challenge. Howie, sir, do you have a read? Hello, Howie, sir.
Hey, what's up?
Howie, well, I was just mentioning here that you were one of the drivers here that were in contention for the Crown Jewel Challenge. And Howie, you and Tony both were tooth and nail fighting for that position for 1st place for quite some time, and ultimately found both of yourselves back in, I believe it was around 16th and around that place. But Howie, what was it like battling with Tony, and what was your mentality of just trying to stay out in the front of the field, and what ultimately led to you in the position that you found yourself in now?
Well, to be honest, I thought Tony was the other Howie because they run identical paint schemes almost. So I didn't even know that we were racing for it, to be honest. I just tried to run my own race, just keep out of trouble. And I did get into a bit of trouble. I did get 2nd, though, which I think I beat Tony. I don't know where he finished, but I do know it's further back. But, yeah. 2nd sucks, but I did lead the most laps, so I'm kind of happy with that. I knew I was going to get junked a bunch of times coming into this race, so oh well, it is what it is.
Absolutely. I think especially with this older layout of Daytona and with ARCA in general, it's definitely a interesting combination, and it definitely came to fruition here tonight. But Howie, taking home 2nd place here at Daytona, what are you feeling going into next week? What are your thoughts, and how are you feeling about that race?
I mean, I never really ran a race at Sebring other than IMSA cars, but let's just hope I don't wreck the car either going into sunset or turn 1. Let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Absolutely. Well, Howie, got me all mixed up here, Howie. Howie, before I let you go, before I let you celebrate taking home 2nd place, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home that you want to shout out or thank before you head out?
Yeah, I think grandmother, granddad, mom, they're all upstairs. I believe Aunt Stephanie as well out on the West Coast over there. Mom, dad, everyone that supports me, really. They keep me going.
Awesome, Howie. Well, thank you for coming up here and joining me in the booth. Congratulations on taking home 2nd place for the Daytona 300. And I look forward to seeing you in the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can have a similar conversation next week.
Yeah, hopefully. I enjoyed this.
Absolutely, Howie. Have a great one.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, folks. Howie Brees out of the booth in the 97 machine, taking home the 2nd place spot for tonight. Last but certainly not least, Jeffrey Fisher in the 06 machine, taking home the win for today's race. Jeffrey, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir.
Jeffrey, watching towards the end there, it was a lot of uncertainty as far as who was going to come across that line and take the win. But right at the very last moment, the field behind you just started wrecking, and it pretty much opened the door for you. You pretty much had clean air around you, and you didn't really have a whole lot to worry about. But before that point, it looked like a nightmare trying to work through this field here tonight. What are your thoughts about this layout, and what ultimately do you think led to your success here at Daytona?
I think just running thousands of laps of this track in the draft, you can understand who's a weapon, who's not, and just being able to read the pack on when there's no point in being up in it. Just luck, about 50% luck, 50% skill. It's a plate track, so it's just luck, really.
Absolutely, Jeffrey. Now, going next week into Sebring, how are you feeling about road courses? Are you pretty confident there, or are you feeling a little skeptical about Sebring? How are you feeling about going into next week's race?
I'm more comfortable on road. There are some guys in here that are pretty quick at road, so if I can walk away with the top 5, I'll be happy.
Absolutely. Well, Jeffrey, before I let you go and celebrate your win here tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast that you want to give a shout out to or thank before I let you go here tonight?
Yeah, just thank all the Team AV guys. Been going for years now, so it's finally good to get a win in Tony's leagues. I've been running in it for like 4 years, so yeah, this is pretty much all my boys at Team AV, James Miller, and you guys for broadcasting, and Tony putting on the league. You guys do a good job year after year.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth. And again, congratulations on taking home the win here for the Daytona 300. Jeff,
thank you, man.
I look forward to seeing you next week, and have a great night.
You too.
Absolutely. Have a good one. All right, folks, Jeffrey Fisher out of the booth, taking home the win for the Daytona 300 here, the season opener of the 2022 VRL Cup Series. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you tonight's action. I hope everyone has enjoyed what they have seen here. I know that it was absolutely thrilling to commentate up here in the booth. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you did enjoy the action, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already to stay tuned and catch all of the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. And I hope to see you all next week, same time, same place, for the race at Sebring. It is the, give me a moment, it is the Sebring 200. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.